So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to work on the design of the navigation bar. So for the navigation bar, first I'm going to open up the style.css, and in the style.css, I'm going to first start working on the nav bar. So if you check here the index, you will find that we have here a class called navbar, which is a Bootstrap class. I'm going to be using it to edit the design further. I'm going to say navbar, and the navbar here, I'm going to change the following. First, I'm going to change the font size. So the font size of the navbar, font size, so the font size is going to be 16 pixels. And the padding top, I'm going to add some padding top. The padding top is going to be 2 rem, important. And I'm going to change also the padding bottom. Padding bottom. The padding bottom is going to be also 2 rem, important. And for the top and left will be 0. The top is going to be 0, and the left is also going to be 0. Let me now refresh, and there will be more space. Next, I'm going to work here on remember we have here in the nav index, you'll find that we have the nav bar light. And we also have the nav link. So I need to access the nav link because I want to edit these buttons, the design of these buttons. So to access these buttons, we can say here dot nav bar light, and then dot nav bar nav, and then dot nav link. So for the nav link, which is this nav link for these buttons, the design is going to be like this. First, I'm going to change the padding. I'm going to say padding. The padding top and bottom is going to be 0, whereas the right and left is going to be 20 px. And for the color, I'm going to change the color to black color. And the transition point for ease. So what is the transition? The transition is just a 0.4 seconds. So the transition is just an amount of time where the element will pass through that time in order to be displayed completely on the screen. So it's going to take these buttons 0.4 of a second to be completely displayed on the screen. It's not very noticeable, but it adds an effect that will make the website look amazing. You will find that later. You'll find that shortly. Next, I'm gonna work on the hover effect of these buttons. So if I hover over these buttons, I need to display another color. Therefore, I'm gonna say here dot. Let me copy this, and instead of repeating all of this, I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna paste it here, and instead I'm gonna say here comma, and then I'm gonna say dot nav bar I hover. And also for the buttons, I'm gonna say comma, and then I'm gonna say here link, and then dot active, and also here for the nav link itself, I'm gonna say hover. So for the hover, and then comma, and then for the I, and also for the active, and also for the dot nav bar I hover. So this for the hover, for the link, for the links, for these links, for these links, and also for these eyes, as well as the active, and for the here, by the way, I have this twice. I should say here not comma. We need to remove this comma. So here only nav bar active, and then dot nav bar hover. So the color is going to be the coral. It's a orange color. Let me now refresh and show you. Now if I hover over these buttons, the color will be orange, which looks amazing. Next, let's work on the eye, which is these. We need to add some space because, as you can see, they are very close to one another. So we need to add some space. To add some space to these, I'm going to say nav bar eye, and then I'm going to add. First, I'm going to change the font size. So the font size is going to be 1.2 rem, and I'm going to also change the padding and the transition. So the padding is going to be 0 top and bottom, and 0.7 pixels right and left. For the transition, I'm going to add a transition. So the transition is going to be 0.4 seconds ease. And then finally, I'm going to add a font weight and cursor. So font weight, the font weight is going to be 500, and the cursor pointer, because I want to, whenever I hover over it, I want it to be shown. So as you can see here, if I hover over it, it will be different in terms of the color. And by the way, if you if you remove the font weight and refresh back, it will, as you can see, it will be filled. And if you add the font weight and refresh, they will be empty. So you can add the color. You can add the color by just removing the font weight if you want. Finally, I'm going to increase the space further. So I'm going to add some space here. I'm going to say margin left. So the margin left is going to be 5 px. And let me refresh. And as you can see, there will be some space.